Hi, I'm here with my trusty friend Yuko, and today we're going to talk about plotting. So there are a lot of different ways to plot. Some writers like to map out their whole story ahead of time. They'll outline it, they'll know exactly what's going to happen. Some writers don't like to plot at all. I kind of land somewhere between those two, more toward the not plotting a lot side. Usually the way that I write, it kind of is like, you know, when you're in a car at night and the headlights are shining on the road and you can see the little bit of road just ahead of your car, but beyond that, it's pretty much all dark. That's kind of how it feels like when I write. So what I've noticed is that a lot of writers will spend a lot of time working on plot, developing everything that's going to happen in their story, and it's a real, it's a very fun process to think about all the things that could happen, but they don't spend enough time developing characters. And you can have the greatest plot, but if you don't have characters that feel alive and interesting and specific to readers, your story probably is going to fall apart. Think about making a gingerbread house. Everybody loves the decorating part, right? The part where you put the gumdrops on the roof and you put the lollipops in for trees. But the making of the gingerbread actually is probably the most important part, right? Because if you don't put in the right ingredients, if you don't bake it well, if you don't cut the gingerbread precisely, the gingerbread house is going to fall down. And all those beautiful decorations are going to go with it. So I think about my characters sort of like the gingerbread and the decorations kind of like the plot. Your plot has to be held up by strong characters. So I spend a lot of time developing my characters. I did another video where I talk about how you can develop great characters and different techniques I use to do that. So you should check those out. But the big question I always have when I'm creating a character is, what do you want more than anything else? I have to know what the character really, really wants. When I figure out what the character really wants, I have to put obstacles in the character's way to make them struggle to get what they want. And that way, I'm getting my readers to really root for those characters. And Yuko's back. So let's say we have a character named Julie, and Julie really wants the lead in the school play, right? That's her heart's desire. So as a writer, I have to put obstacles in her way, and that's how I'm going to shape the story. I'm going to give it some momentum without actually plotting out every little detail that's happening. So maybe Julie has a big family and she lives in a little tiny apartment. So it's really hard for her to even practice the monologue for her tryouts, right? So that's going to be a struggle. And maybe her parents think that acting is kind of silly, like it's a waste of time. And maybe Julie has to work every day after school in her parents' supermarket, right? So there's not, her parents are worried that if she even gets into the play, she won't have time to work in the supermarket. So there's all kinds of struggles around this desire, and that's going to start my story off. So without knowing exactly what's going to happen, I've already set up a conflict. I'm getting readers to kind of root for her because they really want to see her get what she wants. So you can also have subplots, and the subplot can be something working directly with the main plot or not, but I usually feel like subplots should enhance the main plot in some way. So let's say the subplot is there's a new big grocery store that's opening up around the corner, and that's going to be competition for Julie's family. And maybe her father's really worried about that. And maybe the daughter of the groceries, this new supermarket, is going to be her main competition in the school play as well. So that's got like a nice parallel. So from there, you can really follow the characters. Instead of mapping out exactly what's going to happen, you sort of follow the characters, see what they do. Getting to know your characters well ahead of time is a big help in this. And what I really like about working this way is that your characters will surprise you. They will do things that you hadn't expected. And if you're surprised by what your characters do and the direction your story goes in, guess what? your readers are going to be surprised too, and that's really, really fun. If you want more tips for young writers, check out my books, Spilling Ink, A Young Writer's Handbook, co-authored by the amazing Ann Mazer, and Writers 911, How to Tackle Writer's Block and Unleash Your Creativity.